Now, this is where we're going to start the workshop portion of this module, so it's going to be a bit more interactive from here on out. Now, what we're going to do here in the first part is take the beliefs that you had that up until now have been sitting just below the surface, disguising themselves as the facts of life, and we're going to bring them up above the surface and expose them for what they are, which is just beliefs. Now, for simplicity's sake, let's just start with one area of your life like money, and you can do this with any area of your life, but I want to pick an area that affects every salesperson, something like money, which is going to have a huge direct impact on your drive to become a top producer and actually stay there when you get there. So right now, I want you to think about a limiting belief you have about money and write it down. And it could be any belief about money that limits you. For example, that making big money is hard to do. And by the way, it's just as easy to make big money as it is to make small money. That's a fact. There's no difference. But this might be a limiting belief for you about money. Or maybe something like, if I make a lot of money, I'll have to neglect my family. Or something like, money is the root of all evil. Or if I go out there and I make money, people will think I'm greedy or they won't like me. Or if I make money, I lose my connection with God. These are all limiting beliefs about money. So think about it now and write one down, just one limiting belief that you have about money, and then write a second limiting belief that you have about yourself and money. For example, maybe I'm not good with money, or money tends to slip through my fingers. Those are some examples of beliefs that we have that hold us back about ourselves and money. Now, once you've identified those beliefs, and again, please write them down, we're going to start to notice how these beliefs have limited you in the past. What are the negative consequences, essentially, that you have from these beliefs? You see, every belief has consequences. If you say to yourself, I'm not good with money, the consequence is that you typically won't have a lot of it. There are consequences to all your beliefs. So once you've identified your limiting beliefs, I want you to think about and write down the consequences of the two limiting beliefs you came up with. And if you need some time here, you can pause this video and take a few minutes to do this, to search your memory essentially, and write down the consequences of your limiting beliefs. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is there was actually a study in the linguistics department at a major university where they did what's called functional magnetic resonance imaging. And this is a fancy way of saying that they were actually imaging the brain of someone as it was working to see what parts were activated. And what they found when they did this is that when you activate the memory of a belief, it actually sets you up to change the belief more effectively. So if I just was to go up to you and say, hey, do you have a limiting belief you want to get rid of? Great, let's fix it. It wouldn't work nearly as well or be nearly as effective if we actually activate the belief like we're doing now neurologically. And it starts by you having a desire to change the belief. That's why I had you identify the belief's consequences and start creating seeds of doubt that the belief wasn't actually true. Now that we've identified your limiting beliefs and their consequences, we want to start questioning these beliefs and creating more doubt. Now, there are two questions you're going to answer here. Specifically, for one of the beliefs you identified, ask yourself, how is this belief not true? For example, if the belief is the money is the root of all evil, you want to start thinking of examples where this isn't true. Maybe you can think about Bill Gates spending his money helping people in Africa, or Oprah Winfrey building her girls' school. Try to identify at least 3 or 4 reasons for each limiting belief as to why it might not be true. And by the way, I'd like you to do this right now. Of course, you can go back and answer these questions after the video is over, but it's better if you do it now, in the moment. Go ahead and pause the video and take the time to answer each piece as I go through it. You'll get a better result that way. So here you'd be saying, who would I be without this limiting belief? And how would my life be better? And write down all the positive feelings you'd have as a result of them. For example, I'd feel more empowered if I had more money in my life, or I'd feel like jumping out of bed each morning and going to work. I'd feel full of energy. Write those down now. Now, we're almost done with this part now, so here's what I want you to do. And this is very important. I want you to contrast the two things, the consequences of your old limiting belief with how much better your life would be without this limiting belief. Now, to do this, you go back and I want you to look at the consequences you wrote for one of your old limiting beliefs, review it quickly, and then look at who you identified you would be without this limiting belief and how much better your life would be. Now, keep going back and forth, read the old belief and its consequences, then quickly snap to what you wrote down about who you'd be without this limiting belief. Go back and forth through this a few times, who you are with the belief and who you knew you could be without this limiting belief.